Imagine carrying a backpack that weighs nearly half your body weight. Now imagine running with it through soft volcanic sand, wading through salt water that rusts your gear, and hacking through vines that tear your clothes. And you are doing all of this while someone is shooting at you. This was the reality for the United States Marines in the Pacific Theater. While the war in Europe was fought in cities and hedgerows, the Pacific War was a battle against nature itself. The gear issued to a Marine in 1942 was barely ready for the jungle. By 1945, it had transformed completely. Today, we open the 782 gear, the standard issue organizational equipment, to see exactly what a Marine carried into the green hell of Guadalcanal, Tarawa, and Iwo Jima.
Let's start with the basics. The uniform. Unlike the Army's wool uniforms used in Europe, Marines wore the P-41 utility uniform. Made of sage green herringbone twill cotton, these dungarees were tough, breathable, and designed to fade over time. On the left chest pocket, every Marine had the eagle, globe, and anchor stenciled in black ink. It was a mark of pride. But in the humidity of the Solomon Islands, this cotton didn't dry. Marines spent weeks soaking wet, leading to widespread fungal infections and jungle rot.
On their feet, they wore the N1 field shoes, affectionately known as Boondockers. Unlike traditional polished boots, these used rough-out leather. Why rough out? Because in the jungle, you don't need shine, you need durability. Marines would slather them in dubbin, a waxy waterproofing grease, to keep the leather from rotting off their feet. But the most valuable item in a Marine's kit wasn't his boots, it was his socks. A dry pair of socks was worth more than gold on the black market. To top it off, the iconic M1 helmet. In the Pacific, the steel pot had a unique feature, the frog skin camouflage cover. This was reversible. One side was green for the jungle, the other was tan for the beach. However, combat experience quickly taught Marines a deadly lesson. Never expose the tan side while moving. It stood out like a target against the dark jungle foliage.
Now we get to the burden. The pack. For most of the war, Marines were issued the M1941 Haversack. If you ask any veteran, they hated it. It wasn't a true backpack. It was a piece of canvas you had to fold and buckle around your gear like a chaotic envelope. The straps were thin and dug into the shoulders, cutting off circulation. It was designed for marching, not fighting. In combat, the first thing a Marine did when the shooting started was drop this pack. It was simply too bulky to crawl with. What they kept on them was the essentials, carried on the M1943 cartridge belt, held up by suspenders. This belt held 10 clips of ammunition, 80 rounds for the M1 Garand. Attached to the belt were 2 aluminum canteens. One wasn't enough in 100-degree heat. You would find a jungle first aid kit containing bandages and morphine, and often a K-bar knife, crucial for opening crates, cutting vines, or close quarters fighting. For the standard rifleman carried the M1 Garand, a semi-automatic powerhouse firing the 30-06 round. It could punch through trees and light Japanese cover. But in the dense jungle, the Garand was long and heavy. This is why many Marines, especially mortar crews and officers, preferred the M1 Carbine. It weighed half as much and carried 15 rounds. While it lacked the stopping power of the Garand, the ability to fire quickly and carry more ammo made it a favorite for jungle patrols.
Inside the pockets, life was miserable.
Marines survived on K-rations, wax-coated boxes containing a tin of meat, crackers, and a fruit bar. They provided 3,000 calories, but after weeks, the taste became sickening. Even more important were the Atabrine tablets. Malaria killed more men than bullets in the early campaigns. Marines had to take these yellow, bitter pills daily. They tasted so bad that officers had to watch the men swallow them. A side effect? They turned the soldiers' skin a sickly shade of yellow.
By the invasion of Okinawa in 1945, the loadout had evolved. Marines began seeing early nylon gear, quick drying, and even heavy armored vests, flak jackets, to protect against shrapnel. But the weight never went down. With ammo, water, rations, helmet, and flak vest, a Marine stepped off the landing craft carrying nearly 75 pounds of gear. They were pack mules as much as they were warriors.
The U.S. Marine in the Pacific didn't just fight the Japanese Empire. He fought the weight on his back, the rot in his boots, and the heat in the air. His loadout was his lifeline, his burden, and his home. What item in this kit would you hate carrying the most? The 70-pound flamethrower or the rotting canvas pack? Let us know in the comments.